My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe knows South Lake. Welcome. It's so good to have you today. I can't tell you how excited I am for today. In all honesty, I will admit to some selfishness. Today we are going to have the true spirit of Homefront. So it's going to be a happy South Lake morning. We're going to learn a little bit about real estate from my special guest, me. So today Jay is going to interview me. How you doing today, Jay?
I'm doing well, Joe. How are you?
You feeling ready for this since I kind of popped it on you?
No, but I'm going to do it anyways.
That's all right. So we're going to have a good time. All right. What do we have for you today? The 4 things. We're going to talk about Men Make Dinner Day. Today we are going to have a new feature on Thursdays, which is our Homefront section. It is going to be the featured home of the week. So tune in to see the featured home of the week. This is a home that's for sale in the South Lake County area. We are going to continue the Cup of Joe segment on gratitude. So we're going to talk about that today. And then Jay is going to interview me some of my top 5 tips on becoming a buyer. So if you are thinking of buying a home in the next 1 to 12 months, or you know somebody who's thinking of buying a home in the next 1 to 12 months, please share this with them. Look, if you're watching us on the socials, you should be liking, loving, sharing, and commenting. And if you're not watching us on the socials, you should go to the socials and like our Facebook page and subscribe to us on YouTube. With all that said, we're going to hear from our family of sponsors. And when we get back, we're going to jump right into it. So I'll see you in a minute.
Are you tired of having drugs or alcohol ruin your life? Do you need to get off pain pills but still maintain pain relief? My office in Tavares has programs to help you. While not covered by insurance, program fees are affordable. My name is Alan Zupkin. I'm board certified and have helped thousands of patients achieve these goals. Please call me for further information.
Welcome to Erica's Tea Room. Located in the heart of downtown Clearmont, this specialty tea shop offers a traditional high tea experience that can be enjoyed with family and friends. While here, you can choose from over 100 teas from all over the world, and a multitude of teapots are available for purchase. Join us for lunch or choose from one of our special evening events. Call to make a reservation. Erica's Tea Room, making memories with every cup.
And welcome back. Look, it's always good to hear from my sponsors. As I say every day, I really do appreciate them, and they hold a very special place in my heart. And there are some of you out there who are not sponsors, and you support me in the show, and you support the station and what we're trying to do. But you know what? We got to pay the bills. So I would appreciate it. Reach out to me. We can talk about sponsorship packages. We have some very reasonable things going on. As a matter of fact, all of our opportunities are very reasonable, especially once you compare us to other television coverage and advertising methods. Okay, what are we going to talk about today? It's Men Make Dinner Day. Now, frankly, I'm really surprised this is even a national day in our society, because it's kind of a sexist thing in and of itself, right? Here's the thing. I think the spirit of this is, we know that moms in our society, that many times they're working a job, they're taking care of the home, they're chasing the kids. Far too many of us men take our fair share of some of that stuff. Doesn't mean I believe in gender roles. I really do. My wife and I have some delineated gender roles, but it doesn't mean you can't lend a helping hand. And sometimes that means making dinner. Now, in my house, I am usually the deep and heavy cook. The kids all joke if they want it nostalgic and memorable. Sometimes kids just want the food that comes from a box, mac and cheese, that sort of thing. Then they turn to mom, because mom was the everyday need to cook it person. I was the make it complicated and take an hour to fix it, 2 hours to fix it. So the thing I'd like to say here is step in. The best way to celebrate this day is step in and make dinner and give mom a break. But I would also say, for those of you who are in non-traditional roles, maybe the lady is working, or you have some other live-in situation where one of you is doing most of the cooking. If you're the one not doing the cooking, step in and help out. Make a dinner. It's not that tough. With today's services, it's easy. And I'm not talking go out or get takeout. I'm talking put the sweat, love, and tears into it and cook a meal. So, also today, Joe's featured home of the week. This home, let me get my notes. Jay will bring up some pictures for us. This home is in Lake Louisa Point. It is just south of Hartwood Marsh Road and west of 27. This home was built in 2001. It is 2,091 square feet. And as Jay flips through here, you can see this home is immaculately cared for. This particular home, even though it was built in 2001, was only used once or twice a year as a vacation home. Wasn't even a straight snowbird. So this house is not terribly beaten on like you see many times you see. You can see that it's very, very clean as we go through this. I'd like, Jay, did you see a picture of the master yet? Go back. Can you go back? Go back. There's the master right there. You'll see this actually opens out into an amazing yard. If you go one more picture, I think we can get to the master bath. Or one more. This is really cool because it's hard to find a shower and a tub in masters today. And so I really appreciate this. This house has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a 2-car garage. The HOA is only $40 a month. And if Jay will advance through some of these pictures, you'll see the common areas. Keep going. Keep going. There we go. There's one. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There we go. Keep going. We want to get to the kitchen. There we go. Nice open kitchen. Open into the living areas. You can fast forward through a little bit. Gorgeous. You can see the yard there. Perfect for entertaining. That bar is nice and high. Will fit 4 to 5 stools around it. A few more real quick. There you go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Laundry room. Who cares, right? I wanted you to see this huge yard. And obviously the HOA allows fencing, although there's not a fence completely around this yard. You could put one in. If you want to know more about this house, if you'd like to see this house, please reach out to me. You know my information. You can reach me through email, text, phone call, or private message. If you're thinking about buying a house, you really should reach out to me. And I would like to thank Ashley Taylor at my office. This is her listing. I really appreciate it. Reach out to me if you want to see this one. I'll get you in to see it. All right, that's enough of that. Here, I'll do that. I've always wanted to do that. All right. Cup of Joe. All right. We're going to continue the gratitude section today. What we're going to talk about today, the gratitude challenge, you're going to make a list of 10 things that you're grateful for. And I hoped you made the 10 things you were grateful for that were challenges in your life yesterday. Today, I want to have a theme of the basics. You know, by the basics, I find a great value sometimes in just settling in and being grateful to my Creator. Whatever your faith structure is, I believe in Jesus and one true God. I'm a Christian. So take your faith where you need it to be. Don't shut me down because I refer to the Lord. I am grateful to my Creator that I have an opposable thumb. You know, because it allows me to grab things. You know, there are guys that went off into the military, and I served with a great many of them, who came back without hands or arms. I went into the Marine Corps, and I have my issues, but I came home with 2 strong legs and a strong back and strong hands. You know, I'm grateful every day for a strong mind. How's about, and we talked a little bit about this on Monday or Tuesday, but how's about the fact that I can have fresh coffee every day. Because I live in the United States of America, the best place in the world to live in the history of mankind. How's about being grateful for the people in your life? When was the last time you sat down and you really said, hey, I'm grateful for my boss because he gave me a job. I'm grateful for my pastor because he keeps me on the straight and narrow. I'm grateful for my wife because she's my friend, my confidant, my lover, my partner in life. When was the last time you were grateful for your kids because they give you perspective? The basics. That's what today's list should be about. And like I said, it can be something as small as we have an industry that provides readers so that I don't have to strain my eyes. I have a pen. I have an opposable thumb. I would also suggest that just like yesterday, where I asked you to list the challenges, take a few extra minutes when you make the list, and I would suggest just mind dumping a list. And you'll find as you put them down, they'll flow. But when that's done, leave a few spaces in between your list and go back and write down the reason you're grateful. I'm grateful for my wife because. I'm grateful for a strong back because. I'm grateful for a clear mind because. The basics. You know, we see in sports all the time. Whenever a team starts getting off and getting on a losing streak, they can almost always turn it around if they focus back on the basics. So focus on the basics in your gratitude and in your life, and you will see your life improve. All right, we are going to hear from our sponsors again. And when we come back, we are going to get right to it. We're going to talk about some of my advice to prospective buyers. We're going to learn a little bit about me in real estate, and just full disclosure, I am a Remax Titanium agent. Big shout out to Steve and Darlene Miziano, who put me on at their thing, and they are one of the basic things that I am grateful for every day. So I'll see you in a minute.
Hello, my name is Michael Singh with Singh Insurance and Financial Services. Our goal is to build trust based on a clear understanding of how your insurance policy protects you, your family, and even your business. When was the last time you took a good hard look at your insurance coverage? Would you be open to the possibility of reviewing your policy with me? One review of your policy can save you valuable time and money. Call me today to set up a review of what may be available to you.
Hello, I'm Mary Rhodes with the mortgage firm, your local mortgage lender. I've helped thousands of families achieve the dream of homeownership in Lake County, and I would love to help you. Please read our reviews and visit us at mortgagefirmpros.com.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors. And welcome back, everybody. Like I said, so good to hear from my sponsors. Appreciate them and grateful for them more than words can tell. Well, Jay, we're back, and it's me and you today. So,
Hello, Joe. Let me get centered here. There we go.
Hey, Jay, you gonna welcome me? You gonna welcome me to my show?
Welcome back to Joe Knows South Lake. My guest today is none other than the realtor extraordinaire, Joe Carlisle.
Oh.
Let me give you his bona fides.
Thank you, Jay. It's good to be here.
I don't have my readers with me, so I'll try my best.
To read my horrible handwriting.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best. So Joe Carlisle is a Remax Titanium realtor, master of real estate service, GRI, MRP, SRS, OMC, USMC as well. Joe, could you explain what all those letters mean for us?
Yeah, let me go through and read them to me one at a time.
GRI
is Graduate Realtor Institute. It actually took several years to get this particular designation,
Okay.
Several hundred hours worth of education and study and experience.
MRP.
Military Relocation Professional. I am actually certified for the special needs of our veterans and active duty military in helping them find housing.
SRS.
Let me see if I can remember that one. A senior relocation specialist.
Okay, I was going to say that the R.
Excuse me. Senior residential specialist.
Senior residential specialist. All right, and I'm going to have. Scoot over that way just a
Yeah.
little bit.
Okay.
There we go. So I can see Joe
The half
all
scene's
nice
a little
and-
different. There
yeah.
we go.
OMC.
OMC. I'm a one-man crowd. Seriously, I threw that on there because
Is that really?
I'm a legend in my own mind. I'm a one-man crowd.
And the USMC.
Is obviously the United States Marine Corps.
There you go. Semper Fi, do or die.
Amen, brother.
Okay. Father of 4 amazing adults. Husband to 1 wife, Pat. Marine, actor, speaker, budding author, and host of Joe Knows South Lake. Joe, welcome to your show.
Thanks, Jay. I'm glad to be here.
Good.
It was a chore getting here today, but I'm glad I could squeeze it in.
Well, we're definitely glad that you could make it. There's a lot to talk about today. Tell us about Homefront, this segment in general. Generally, we reserve Thursdays for real estate. Tell us how you kind of came up with the concept for Homefront and what your aim is to accomplish.
Well, aside from being a full-time realtor, I mean, people see me here, and obviously I'm a full-time host, but I'm also a full-time realtor. And, one of the things that I believed in when we started the show was I wanted people to understand that housing is more than just you buying a house. I'm very active with the homeless, with organizations that help the homeless. I'm very active with food banks. I'm active with affordable housing. And we've had guests on that cover that. There are a lot of reasons that our market is in the situation that it's in. And I won't go into a lot of them today because that's a whole nother episode. But that's why we have Homefront, is because I feel sometimes people don't really understand all that goes into housing. It's why we've had the property appraiser on. It's why we had an appraiser on. It's why we have Mary Rhodes as a guest to tell us about mortgages, and it's why we brought in Stephanie Harris, who deals with New Beginnings, which is a program which trying to help end the homeless. And so these kind of things all influence the market when we're trying to rent or buy a home, but we may not know it. And I really felt if Joe was going to focus on South Lake, if we were going to really instruct people about what's going on here, they really needed to know about housing.
Okay. Well, and we've had some really good segments and a lot of great information. I think the appraisers, when they came on, we've had 2 different types, and it's a lot of really useful information. And a lot of folks know that housing drives a lot of what goes on in our economy, good or bad. So I think a good knowledge of what weight real estate actually carries in every community is important to know. So I appreciate that you're able to bring your level of expertise to the platform. And speaking of which, what made you, because you had a list of obviously a lot of things that you've been able to accomplish in your life, what made you become a realtor?
I have to say, I'll give you 2 reasons. Both are very personal. Had a very eclectic career. And I spent some time in my younger years just chasing money, without ever really thinking, because I had 4 kids and I had a lot of stuff I had to support. But realistically, I had come to a place where I was sick of the industry I was in. I was in and out. I was an actor as a young guy, which meant I worked in restaurants. You have a joke in New York, oh, you're an actor. What restaurant do you work in? While it's a cliche, it's a cliche for a reason.
There's a similar thing in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It's usually, what bar do you work at?
What bar do you work in? Sure, right? And of course, everybody goes to New York with that fantasy that, I'm going to go to auditions during the day, I'm going to work restaurants at night. But New York's an expensive place, and for me, I slipped into more in the restaurant industry because I had 4 children, and I realized a little kid doesn't care that daddy is an unfulfilled artist. They want food in their tummy. 25 years in that business, it started to get very hard on the body and hard on the spirit. So I decided that I wanted something. It became obvious that my career was going to be forced to be ended at some point. And I'd spent a lot of time making millions for other men, and I decided that I'd like to chase real estate because I'd spent a lot of time selling things, and I never really felt like I was selling something that they really needed. Even insurance to some degree, I had to kind of talk people into. With homes, they need a home. There's no question. You have to have a place to live, right? And your whole life really portrays out of that. Right around the time that I was making that decision, I felt a real need to really serve people. I knew if I was going to go into another industry, I wanted to do something that I could really help. And, I'm not a doctor, so I can't help that way. And I'm not, I don't have a college degree, although I have more than 2 college educations. So real estate was kind of perfect for me. And a friend of mine talked me into giving it a try. And that was 10 years ago, and I've been going great guns ever since.
Now, what kind of agent are you?
I'm glad you asked this question, Jay, because there are a lot of kinds of agents, and there are good agents and bad agents. Let's say we all say, well, I'm honest and trustworthy. Well, you better be. I would hope you're honest, and there's a lot that aren't. There's a lot that aren't ethical. I'm what I call a plain vanilla realtor, and that means I specialize in helping people find a home, either to sell a home or to buy a home. I don't deal with investors. If you need a home for investment, I can direct you to somebody. If you want commercial real estate, I know all the best people. I can direct you to somebody. But if you're looking for a home, or somebody's looking for a home, I care. I don't take on 100 clients in a year. I'm very careful about the number of people that I help. And I did that that came hard because I made the mistake of working with people I wasn't enjoying. There were parts of commercial and investors I didn't enjoy. And I found I had the most fulfillment when I was handing the keys to a guy who had to find a house with a mother-in-law suite because his mom had Alzheimer's disease and the family couldn't afford to put her in a home. So they had to move her in to take care of her. Or the young family that, has been living in an apartment and decided she's going to have a baby. So they want to start putting some money in their own pocket and have a bigger place to raise a child. That fulfillment was where it was. And that's why why I became a home specialist.
Okay. And so if you, in this kind of climate that we have for real estate, it's very, what would you say if you had to put a name on what the market represents right now? What kind of market are we living in as far as real estate? And what kind of tips could you offer to someone who's either looking to get into the market as a seller or a buyer? What kind of things would you advise them to do prior to just jumping right in?
The first thing I'd like to let people know is that there's a lot of opinions about the market. And most opinions about the market are not necessarily based on fact. For instance, when the Florida market crashed back in 08, 09, there was actually nothing wrong with our economy. Our market crashed simply out of fear. There was some idea that because we actually led the nation at one point in foreclosures, and because we led the nation in foreclosures, people assumed that we had a serious problem with our economy. But we didn't. The reason we led the nation in foreclosures is because we led the nation in second and third homes. The upside to that is that as the market turned and people started getting away from that fear, the crash in the market created opportunity for a lot of people who couldn't normally buy a house to actually afford one. And we've seen, even just in South Lake County, there are literally dozens of communities here who have changed from being rough neighborhoods, high crime, and just fallen down houses to being cute, quaint little communities because people who couldn't afford now own. So a greater preponderance. The market itself, our market is still growing, but not like it was. We're in, some people would say it's stalled, but we're kind of in a leveling off. So if you're getting ready to sell, I actually have some of this advice I'm going to give today. These tips actually tell for both people. But today I'm specifically directed the tips to buyers. So if you're a seller, reach out to me. And before I get into, well, actually, we're going to get into this in a minute. Tip number one. Is not make men make dinner. Tip number one, no such thing as perfect, okay? Whether you're a buyer or a seller, your house is not perfect. And if you're a buyer trying to find the perfect house, I'm here to tell you it doesn't exist. Now, you might get something close, but even if you're building your house, I mean, unless let me couch that with, unless you've got $800,000 and a half acre sitting somewhere on a lake, okay, and you have an individual builder that is building exactly to your desires and specifications, then you're not going to get a perfect house. Even if you're building new construction in a subdivision or in a community, you're probably limited by the models they have available, by the lots they have available. So you're not going to get a perfect house. Most of us, when we're looking at what we call resales, which is a house that was built by somebody else and now they're selling it, most of those houses are going to have something. So when I talk to my buyers, I recommend you make two lists. You make the list of must-have and the list of would like. And in that, I have people rate those 1 to 10, most important to least important. Because the truth is, we might find an amazing house, but it doesn't tick off all the boxes. You got to know which boxes you're willing to negotiate on. And that's where I come in. I help you figure that out. Okay. Tip number 2. The internet doesn't tell the whole story. You know, so often I hear sellers say their house is worth it because it's what Zillow says, or people are looking at houses on Zillow and they get frustrated because those houses invariably have been sold or they're not available. Zillow can be used by a lot of people. All right. And it's not just realtors coming out of the MLS. So their information isn't, and I'm picking on Zillow, but it's active with any listing website, is generally, unless you're getting something directly from a guy like me. I mean, my website, search website for my company is Lake and Orange County Homes for Sale. Lake and Orange County, Florida Homes for Sale. And if you want to know about that, just reach out to me. The other thing the internet doesn't tell the whole story. So it doesn't tell you what's wrong with a house. We have something called Realtor Magic. I call it photographic magic. We can make the tiniest house look large just by the angle we take something from. So when you pick a house, don't be disappointed. The other thing the internet doesn't tell the whole story of is services like Home Advisor, Home Light, Angie's List. You know, people, they love to portray the idea that those are the best people. Well, you pay to be on those. So if I want to be a realtor and I want to be on Home Advisor, I can pay to be listed as one of the top agents in the air on Home Advisor. Doesn't make me the top agent. It just means I spent the money to be listed by them. Okay, number 3, you're going to need some cash. All right, now this is particularly for buyers. There's an impression out there that there are 100% loans, and there are, but you need to qualify for them. There are low down payment loans. This is true, 3.5%. In almost every situation, I can negotiate for closing costs, and typically I do negotiate for closing. It's always part of the negotiation. But there might be something happens. Even if they agree to pay for those closing costs, you're going to need down payment. You're going to need some cash for inspections and appraisals. And these are upfront monies. So I encourage everybody, there's no such thing as a no money purchase. You're going to need some money. Now, where you get that from, whether we get it from the seller, we may have to negotiate repairs. You may get credits from a new builder. That all goes into the equation, and that's why I sit down with people and work out how does that equation work. Because the idea is we want you to spend as little cash as possible, but you're going to need some. Number 4, all lenders are not created equal. You know, there's a reason Mary Rhodes is a sponsor of Joe Knows South Lake, because I've had a relationship with Mary for like 9 years. Okay, and I have a relationship with Mary for 9 years because she can get the job done. She knows what she can do. And Mary is actually my go-to person. I usually send everyone to Mary first. Now, every great once in a while, there's a situation that doesn't fit for Mary. It's not a good fit for her. I have other people that I have relationships with. And this becomes important because a lot of times somebody comes back at me with an internet lender, and I will caution you, we're back to the internet doesn't tell the whole story. It may seem that that loan is going to be quick and easy, but it may not be. Rather have a relationship with a lender. And finally, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. So often this is a roller coaster, especially as a buyer and as a seller too. It's a roller coaster ride of emotions. You're dealing with the biggest asset you're ever going to buy. You're dealing with where you're going to raise your family, where you're going to establish a life. Let's face it, you buy a home, you're putting down some roots. You've decided to become a member of a community. And sometimes things happen. You can't work out. You find out there's something wrong with the house or the inspection. You have to move on. It's really upsetting. It's all going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And if you have a good realtor like me, they will be there with you through all of it, in communication with you. My top tips are right here. No such thing as perfect. To recap, there's no such thing as perfect house. Internet doesn't tell the whole story. You're going to need some cash. All lenders are not created equal. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. I almost called this last one, there's going to be some tears, but I wanted to be a little more positive than that. So that's my top advice for buyers. And this usually happens when I'm first sitting down with them. If you're in the spot where you're ready to pull a trigger, where you need a lender, we should have a conversation, and it'll be a little different advice because you've moved beyond some of these. This is my website, I believe we're bringing up.
Yes, sir.
This is actually, I think, my company website.
It is,
So
yes.
you can reach me through here. You all know my phone number and my email by now, but this proves RE/MAX is actually, I'm on RE/MAX. I did not create this. They did, so I'm the guy there. I think that's a boring picture. I probably need to get one of my other ones. Look, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I just want to encourage you one more time. Joe knows real estate. Joe knows South Lake. I don't know everything, but I know an awful lot. And Jay and I have talked. We'll talk more about real estate in the future because we do need to wrap it up today. But if you have any questions, if there's anything I can do for you, whether it's helping you buy or sell a house or find somebody to move a couch, please reach out to me. I'm here to serve and build relationships. And look, if you just like to talk about the market in general and have a cup of coffee with me, reach out to me. I'll sit with you and have some coffee. Can you tell? Joe likes coffee. All right. I won't ramble. I guess I've done that too much. I want to say thank you. Look, if you know somebody that should be a guest on Joe Knows South Lake, reach out to me. You have the information there. I need to reach into new sources. I would love to use your connections to get some guests, people I don't know, or some of the best interviews. If you know somebody that should be advertising here, and here's the secret, you should be advertising here. You can also reach out to me if you'd like to support me or the station. You can reach out to me or Jay at southlake.tv. We can have a conversation, cater something and tailor it to your business and to your culture. And finally, there is greatness inside you. I encourage you today, use your greatness to bring the greatness out of others. And I want to say, since there's no guest here today, Jay does this to me all the time. He is amazing at what he does, and he's still a fairly young guy, so he's learning some stuff, but he helps me be better every single day. I see how hard he's working. I see where his mind is. I see how much he's really believing in and it makes me believe in what I'm doing, and allows me to go meet people and say, hey, why aren't you on board? Sometimes I want to say, why aren't you on board, dumbass? But I never actually say that. So sometimes I say it. Depends on how close I am.
It's okay.
Anyways,
We just broadcast it, so we're
good. Good. So everybody knows what I'm thinking. I just want to say, let your greatness out today and bring the greatness out of somebody else. Tomorrow, where are we going to be tomorrow, Jay?
Tomorrow we have an interview with Michael Beckemeyer from Lake Mineola High School. He is the TV production teacher, and he is going to tell us all about his program. You can actually watch the high school news program at 5 p.m. on southlake.tv, which is currently right now it's only Lake Mineola High School. They have thrown down the gauntlet, and East Ridge is on its way. They're going to start sending their broadcasts as soon as they can, so that way we can have more of a compilation of all of our high school TV broadcast classes on prime time, so all the parents can see what's going on at their kids' school, and also so the kids can see what the other kids are doing at the other school when they do TV production. and the viewers win. So tune in at 5 o'clock. We'll have that and an interview with the teacher tomorrow with Joe.
All right, so that'll do it. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. See you tomorrow, and I love you. Bye-bye. My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe knows South Lake. Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors: